tip me over and pour me out. An Animal Crossing leak. An Animal Crossing leak. An Animal Crossing leak. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. This gave me the animal itch. That sounds like a terrible disease that I acquired at some petting zoo, but I promise it's just excitement because we've got our first Animal Crossing leak since this game wrapped up development. I have not heard anything about an upcoming Animal Crossing at all. Nothing. Nada. Remember data mines? Remember leaks? Remember rumors? They were all over the place. It's been radio silent ever since. Tom Nook has been spending his money on, I don't know, who knows what else, but definitely not on getting the word out there. But now we could have our first information on the next Animal Crossing, rumored to be coming in 2026. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. I think I already said that, but maybe you forgot. We haven't talked Animal Crossing in what feels like years. My favorite era of the channel, my favorite era of the Switch, a genuinely crazy time for the community and for the global community. The world was insane, but Animal Crossing kept us sane, and I loved it so much. And then they released 2.0, and it was brilliant, and then they stopped. And they didn't come back, and they still haven't come back. And nothing has been said since, except we know we're close to a new Nintendo Switch console, which should mean we're closer to a new Animal Crossing game. Now, Animal Crossing New Horizons came out in 2020, which is like the fourth year of Switch. That is midway through a cycle. I hope it is sooner than that. And if this leak/rumor is to be believed, 2026 would actually be the second year of Switch 2, because the system is supposed to come out early next year. Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty of this. This comes from Nash Weedle. Now, Nash Weedle is a known leaker. This is not a random person. He's had some close ties to Mercury Steam, which is the company that made Metroid Dread, amongst other games. His leaks that gained him popularity were about Metroid. He's had a lot of information since. Some has been true, some has been false, so you need to take this with a grain of salt. I want you to know that this is a grain of salt, meaning you can't write this down, you can't text your best friend. Well, you can, but you gotta let them know, like, this may not be real. Don't take this as fact, and don't start posting this all over that Animal Crossing is releasing in 2026, because it may not. But there is some major game concepts that are leaked around the phrase, the next Animal Crossing is in development, and it will be an ultimate version. Now, if you're not sure what that means, an ultimate version is kind of what they did with Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they brought in a huge single player, all the multiplayer elements, online, the biggest character roster ever. They had amiibo support, they had trophies, they had everything in there. It was the ultimate version. And in some ways, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe could be viewed now as an ultimate game because it has all of Mario Kart 8, and it has the deluxe content, and it has the DLC, and now it has the course booster pass, doubling the track total for the game to heights that no Mario Kart has ever come close to. Plus, they added new characters, they've added all sorts of great things, and they've got battle mode, and this is just, it's the ultimate Mario Kart. An Ultimate Animal Crossing sounds awesome, and could be the evolution and the big step forward that we want. I'm not trying to say that New Horizons wasn't a big step forward, but if you remember, New Horizons ended up adding all the things that the previous games had before. It didn't have too much new. Now, an ultimate version doesn't mean that it just has to bring from the past, because as I stated in those examples, Smash Bros. And Mario Kart weren't just rehashing what was there before, they just became the ultimate version of that franchise, the biggest, best it could possibly be. And so here are the 5 things that are stated in this rumor. 1, you can move around controlling vehicles. That sounds absolutely bonkers. Imagine the size of your Animal Crossing world, your town, your area, if you could drive around in vehicles. Okay, we've seen vehicles plop down. Look, I've got a rocket ship. Oh my, I've got a tractor. You can't do anything with those. You can't ride them. You can't move them around. They are stationary as stationary can be, and they can rotate 90 degrees. That's about all they can do. But rideable vehicles would be insane because it has to up the ante on the scope of this game by a ton. It also would introduce a lot more mechanics, a lot more lifelike nature to the cities. Because if you can move around in vehicles, I would bet that maybe your villagers can as well. Imagine gifting Sherb a car and then building roads and watching Sherb drive from his house to the market. That's gold. Imagine if you could drive your car over from your town to the main street where you can do shopping, play at the casino, and visit the hair salon. Again, gold. But vehicles does sound like it would change the game dramatically in ways that we have not yet seen before. Could you fly your own plane? Could you go underwater? The next point is that there will be more collaborative multiplayer, and your guess is as good as mine on what that means. Easier time getting from place to place. You're able to always work on each other's islands at all times. You can destroy each other's islands. You can invite your whole villagers over for a slumber party. I don't know. I think it's safe to assume that whatever happens with Animal Crossing, whether this leak is accurate or not, will have more multiplayer stuff. That was a huge focus for Nintendo and for acnh, both with like going to others' islands, visiting islands, dream islands, and of course, user-generated content. User-generated content became a huge part of this game where you can make your own designs, make your own clothes, and obviously visit each other. The next is a large city with skyscrapers, which sounds bonkers. We've had some city areas before in the Animal Crossing franchise, but nothing like large city with skyscrapers. I mean, maybe there were skyscrapers comparatively, but like this sounds like, okay, you can take your car, drive into town, into city, I guess, into freaking Times Square, and there's going to be skyscrapers and buildings and things to do. One of the things I've wanted from Animal Crossing forever, and I thought would be a great spin-off game, was like an Animal Crossing hotel, where you had to design different hotel floors and rooms to fit villagers' requests as they came in. It would almost be like Sim Hotel, if you ever played that game, or Tiny Towers, but with more complexity. I think this could be sick. It's also kind of like Fallout Shelter. That would be amazing, and if there is an area where you get to run a hotel, or if that's a big feature in the game, it's not mentioned in this leak, but I'm just saying, I think city, I think skyscrapers, I obviously think shopping, but then I think hotel. I also think about a lot of games, a lot of mini games, and that's the next point. Adventure missions, puzzles, and mini games. Now, this would expand upon some of the coolest features of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Remember early in the game when there was like quests? You had to get this much money. You had to attract this many villagers. You had to collect this many resources. You had to build out the museum. You had to build out Nook's Cranny. That to me is when the game, like, forget your friends, forget building, like the game was the most engaging because it was giving you directives. It was giving you things to do, and it was kind of guiding you along this yellow brick road and saying, hey, come play with us. More quests, more guidance, more to do. Besides, obviously, build your own place and make your own place spectacular and share it and post it on Instagram and, you know, build a Pinterest board, all that stuff. That's great. That'll always be there. Animal Crossing will always have that. But more directed content helps players like me know what the heck to do and would give more incentive for you to play longer and longer before converting over to just building new island after new island after new island. It also would encourage you to keep your same space for longer because there would be more to invest in, more to do than just like, okay, I've reached the maximum, might as well start over. Now, new puzzles makes me think of the mazes that we got on May Day. Remember how we had that little like obstacle course, that little maze? That was genius and brilliant, and it only happened one time. They could do so much more with escape room style things, and now, you know, you've got pipes, you've got all these different options where you can make really cool games and puzzles, kind of like all of the races that we had from the community. I have to imagine that Nintendo watched the community extensively. They saw what was popular, they saw what did well, and they saw how darn fun and how invested the community got in all those races and all the Crunchy Island stuff and all the mazes and challenges that were built by players. Could Nintendo incorporate some of this into the game or better editors so that players can design even more cool stuff? I think both could be true. Nintendo will definitely up the ante on the editing tools for both the land masses, the buildings, and for what you're able to create. But I'd love to see them put more of their own puzzles in the game and their own minigames. We never got a minigame island in Animal Crossing New Horizons. We never got like true fun multiplayer minigames. You can't really do a ton with each other, and so bringing this all in feels like it would up the multiplayer exponentially. And we already talked about more collaborative multiplayer, so more competitive multiplayer sounds great too. Multiplayer will inevitably be a focus, and I think Animal Crossing New, whatever you want to call it, the next one, will be a focal point for the new Switch of bringing over new audience, right? Not every player, especially casual players, are going to want to drop $400 or $450 on a brand new system just because it has better graphics and runs faster. But an Animal Crossing game could bring those people to the new system. If there's an Animal Crossing, I know you will buy it. I know you will. You'll buy the system. If that's the only way to play it, if it's exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2, you will buy it. And the final thing is date of 2026, which feels reasonable. It would be earlier in the life cycle of the Switch 2 than acnh was in the Switch 1. It's not so close that I doubt it, but it also could just be a bunch of hogwash. Like I stated, all of this info is taken with a grain of salt. It's rumor, it's a leak. At this point, none of it's substantiated, and Nash Weedle isn't like Pioro, the leaker that I talk about a ton on the channel, who has a 100% track record. Nash Weedle is more of like a 30-70 kind of guy. So I would approach this with a 30% chance that it's legit. I mean, Nintendo will make a new Animal Crossing, and it having more multiplayer, bigger cities, and releasing around 2026, all of that feels very valid and easy to guess. Some more of these specifics about vehicles, skyscrapers, puzzles, and specifically 2026, we'll have to wait and see. But this is exciting because it begins our long journey to the next game. It officially kicks off our Animal Crossing Palooza as we wait for the next big one. And if you remember how fun it was waiting for New Horizons, getting New Horizons, seeing everybody play New Horizons, trying to do all the tricks in New Horizons, acquire all the stuff in New Horizons, build out your island in New Horizons, visit your friend. Like, it's going to be so much fun, and I'm still going to be here for it. I'm still going to be making videos. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing stuff with Nintendo Talk, I'm sure. The community is going to revive itself and be huge, and I hope that there are vehicles that we can drive and our villagers can ride in. I hope that there is a huge city with skyscrapers, and I want a freaking hotel. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you are pumped like I am to get something Animal Crossing. And until next time, everybody, I missed you. I love you lots. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. SwitchForce out.